It's TSN Trade Center's worst nightmares. We're seeing multiple big NHL trades going down today, 2 days ahead of the deadline. Plenty of really interesting names moving today, and for sure there's more to come. Let's get into it. The Sens have traded Vladimir Tarasenko to Florida in exchange for a 2024 4th-round pick that can become a 3rd-round pick in 2026 if the Panthers win the Cup, and a 3rd-round pick in 2025. The Sens also retained 50% of Tarasenko's $5 million, and that contract is up at the end of the year. And honestly, considering that Tarasenko had a full no-trade clause, has family in Florida, arguably they're the best team in the NHL right now, he really wanted to go there. I definitely don't think the return is great for Ottawa, but I understand why it is what it is. Yes, he has 17 goals, he's a skilled forward who's probably going to fit well in Florida, but he's also 32 years old, is a rental, and had a no-trade clause, which definitely impacted the process. I do think he's going to fit in really well, though. I think he plugs the hole left by Duclair when he went to San Jose, and he's going to be a good Florida Panther. Next up, after putting Sam Gagner on waivers yesterday, the Oilers are acquiring center Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick from the Ducks. This one's a little tricky because Anaheim's retaining 50% of Adam Henrique's money, and a third team is also going to be coming in there to broker the money even more. We now know that third team is Tampa, and they're getting a 4th-round pick as compensation from Edmonton for that. What we know for sure right now is that the Oilers get an upgraded center. Henrique can either play the 3rd-line center role, or if you're in love with McLeod in that spot, he can also play the wing. Carrick, who's also a depth forward, just gives you some more flexibility when it comes to putting guys like Connor Brown or Matthias Janmark in the lineup. It's always good to have more options and more depth in case of injuries if you're planning to go on a long playoff run. Henrique has also been very productive on a bad Ducks team this year, so he could be very useful for the Oilers. And for a rebuilding team like the Ducks, drowning in picks in exchange for aging assets is always a win, especially when one of them's a 1st-round pick. I do like this one for both teams, but if I'm the Oilers, I'm not done. I need to look for another defenseman. Somebody who can preferably take Cece's role and maybe even take some of the load off Vinny Desharnais in that second pairing would be awesome for them. Then Colorado decided to steal the show. First of all, they acquired Sean Walker and a 2026 5th-round pick in exchange for a conditional 1st-round pick, the condition being that it's top 10 protected, and Ryan Johansson, who when he was acquired in the summer was thought of to be the 2nd-line or at least 3rd-line center for this team. That hasn't worked. He gets flipped to Philly and immediately gets thrown on waivers by the Flyers. The Avs really wanted that right-hand shot defenseman in Walker, eh? They paid a premium for it. That then set the stage for an even larger trade, 1-for-1. I love the good old 1-for-1. Taylor Hall for Adam Larson. No, it was Casey Middlestat for Bowen Byram. That's a pretty big one. Both are top 10 picks, were thought of to have very high potential. Middlestat basically fills that void left by Johansson going to Philly. Byram joins an absolutely stacked young core of Buffalo defensemen. You know what this one reminds me of? The Ryan Johansson to Nashville, Seth Jones to Columbus 1-for-1 trade. I know those two were more established, basically star players at the time, but still, two very high potential players, one a forward, one a defenseman. Both young, high draft picks. I love seeing trades like this. Plus, I should also mention that last night, Anthony Mantha was traded from Washington to Vegas in exchange for a 2nd-round pick this year and a 4th-round pick in 2026. That is a ton of movement in the span of less than a day. I told you guys I'd make a couple roundup videos on this. This is going to be the first one because that's already a ton of trades right there. There will most definitely be a part 2 to this. I mean, it's been rumored that the Penguins want to trade Jake Gensel within the day here. Noah Hannafin and the Flames are in Tampa to play the Lightning tomorrow, which is his rumored preferred destination. We'll see if maybe he gets traded to Tampa before that game. Lots of stuff to keep an eye on, but it's already been a crazy trade day. Let me know your thoughts on these deals in the comments. Who made a great deal? Who made a terrible deal? Let me know. If you want more NHL news roundup videos, which it seems like you guys do, make sure you like the video, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.